Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time as the Great Qing. We're gonna pause, we're gonna let some time pass. We're gonna slowly try to turn on that government admin PM. Because I'm gonna want the bureaucracy. At the same time, I need the ability to afford it. And the dictatorship of America is invading Mexico. We're probably about to see a continental America here. Yeah, it looks like America's winning that war. And then the bit of Columbia District handed over the United States is pretty reliable RNG from the journal entry. Yeah. So the treaty fell apart, so we got a claim on that bit. What I might try to do is declare on them, and then invite UK in for their claims. Or one of their claims. Okay, we've hit the max directed tech rate. And all the new tech coming in from the university is going into spread. Which, as the Great Qing, is probably perfectly fine. We're far enough behind in tech at the beginning of the game that spread is probably the main way we're going to get our tech. There's Power of the Purse, which is morale and loss and damage buff. The Navy. Cost of a little bit more officers in the Navy. So they're using their alliance to pull us in, which that's their prerogative. That means they can add a war goal against one of their enemies. They have Russia involved. Okay. Well, I know what I want the war goal to be. Humiliate Russia, please. Mobilize the army. We're going to be humiliating Russia again. Another state with Christians in it. It's not enough to cause the Heavenly Kingdom yet. It hangs around for a given period of time. So, 3 states have the Worshipping Society. None of them have turmoil over 15 yet. That's good. So what we gotta do is be good enough at attacking to occupy one Russian state, and we'll get that war goal off successfully. Okay. What do I want to do after the university? It's possibly more paper. Well, the paper is pretty well priced. Actually got pretty high demand for fish. Might do fish. Yeah, let's build up all the fisheries. So it's 3.5 thousand plus another 1.5 thousand from imports. So about 5,000 more fish we could easily produce demand for. So it's 50 each fish. So 2 is 100, 20 is 1,000. So we want about 100 levels of fishing wars. Or could easily build up to that, not have a problem. So that's 11, 15, 25, 29, 31. Okay, so all the domestic fish. Cool. Fishing wharves are pretty cheap to build. Cost only 20 or 200 construction. So at the moment, I think they build in like 4 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah, 25 a week, so it takes 8 weeks. It's definitely an option. Minting's also pretty good. Yeah, let's do those two. Let's do nationalism, central banking, work towards Y9. Suppose we could try doing some limited colonization in Africa. British Raj claims you, okay. No one claims you, okay. Okay, we're a little in debt. Not too bad. And we're not an unrecognized power, so that's not too bad either. Oh, the UK got a little greedy and wanted a Russian-American company. Although, Canada should have that soon occupied. And Lodge, which is... Oh, that spot. Okay, that looks like something I can do. Make this war end a bit faster. Do I need a commander for the fleet? Got no fleet commander. Okay, Greece is out. As soon as the army arrives here, we should be occupying the last objective on Russia. Yep, there they go. Okay, we're back to making profit, although not much. Most of the fishing places are done. We got pretty heavy demand on buying foreign coal. So let's make domestic coal. Oh, domestic gold. Definitely do the domestic coal. Gold. And then foreign, it's about 3.4 thousand coal. So 60 mines? We'll overbuild a bit. Xing those two out. Hopefully that should provide a bunch of employment opportunity. I need to approve the peace deal. That looks acceptable. There we go. Yeah, I don't think we want to go full annex on them. We do want to invade them. So southern Turkestan, we have a return state casus belli, so we'll declare for that. 5% chance they'll just give it to us. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get it from them. Okay. Corner for long, we can in... Interesting, the conciliatory. Okay, well. Call you in with Wargol. Return state. Return... Weta. Could have the regret or revoke a bunch of claims, but I'm not thinking that's worthwhile. So taking that one, I probably want to take some of their more western stuff. So like Khorasan. Khorasan Herat, maybe. Oops. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Only had them in the block for a year, so I'm gonna wait 4 more before we can make them a member of the Protectorate Squad. Mighty than the Sword. Oh, they backed down. Okay, that works for me. Not quite what we wanted, but... course, the dictatorship sending their Democrat into exile. No democracy for them, apparently. From a law standpoint, how much is proportional, or how much worse is proportional taxation? Only minus 200. It's not actually too bad. We had opposition to it. Oh, the opposition from it is coming from the scholar officials right now. Okay. They still prefer land. Whereas everyone else prefers moving to something more, a little progressive. Oh, fudge. That's my project. So we've got a Heavenly Kingdom-shaped problem. Like, this is not going to be a major problem, just an annoying problem. Okay, Kohler Alien. What do you want? Oh, this is a defensive war as well, so I can bring the Germans in as well. They're gonna want transfer states now. Sway you with an obligation, although I don't need Italian help or Spanish help. So the IRL version of the Heavenly Kingdom revolt, I think, resulted in one of the highest world population death tolls of any war. Like in the top 10 it gets to. Just of how big China's population is, for example. There's nationalism, that's nice. So it's about a third, almost half of our GDP is declaring independence. It's not going to get away with it because we've got all the allies. Although, that was kind of the case IRL, right? The Heavenly Kingdom did not get independence. It contributed to the decline, but it didn't instant it, or didn't cause it alone. General staff. Okay, improved training rate. We're not in a position to institute the rest of it, so... No UI element's not working. It's probably telling me I'm loading certain kids, which is good. No demands. Nothing. Okay. That's less than a worrisome problem. Given the circumstance, I need these wars to work. So, it's time to swap you back to line infantry for the moment, and let's do the draft. So the Twitch chat is asking, is the Heavenly Kingdom tied to the Republic of China, which led to Taiwan, or is it actually separate? So the Heavenly Kingdom revolt, historically, was one man decided, because he supposedly had converted to former Christianity, believed he was the brother of Christ, and indirectly started a religious movement, basically a Christian religious movement in China, that then basically decided the emperor, because the emperor is sort of slightly deified in this time, right? Was, you know, your usual heathen heretic sort of thing. And basically tried to take over China as Christians. And that didn't work. But that was a general sort of cultural religious awakening of certain groups of the Chinese in the sort of west and south. So it was a lot of revolters. Like millions upon millions upon millions of people revolted. So that's not tied to the Republic of China. That's later on. That would arguably be that's Warlord China. So that's after we got the journal entry here, which is Fragile Unity. So historically, there's a bunch of things that end up happening. A lot of them are these retreat conditions. So you lose, historically, China loses the Opium War. They have something like this happen, which is the Heavenly Kingdom occurs. They do manage to retake it, so it's not that third one. So they have the Opium War, the Heavenly Kingdom. They have a Boxer Rebellion, which is a bunch of sort of anti-Western groups rebel. Although, only kind of, sort of, they weren't really at war with the Chinese government, but rather they were more at war with the sort of Western enclaves, right? So that ends up resulting in another expeditionary incursion from the British, the French, I think the Russians, even the Americans showed up. So it was like all the Western powers showed up to put down that revolt. Obviously, all of this going on caused them to go into debt. And then add on to that, they end up at some point deciding, basically the unrest reaches the point where they overthrow the monarchy. And they abolish the monarchy. And then they fail to properly, like, convert into, like, a Republican form of government. And that causes the whole country to just fall apart. And out of the chaos of that era would become known as the Warlord era, because China was basically ruled by hundreds of warlords. One of the larger, or one of the groups ends up deciding, okay, well, the only way we're going to put China back together is either we're going to unite under communism, unite under sort of a republican government, or we're going to have to restore the monarchy. And that's kind of where you're getting into Hearts of Iron 4. That's what's kind of going on in that time period. You've got Republican China, who's trying to put down the Communist Chinese, while the Japanese are arguably supporting a puppet government that is the remnants of the old Chinese monarchy. So we can massacre them. We're not gonna. I don't want that infamy. Show mercy. Okay, so the war's over. That problem solved at the moment. What did that do to stating? Hopefully it didn't break everything. No. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so the Republican China you have at the beginning of Hearts of Iron 4, following World War II, is in control of most of China, but the section of China that was previously the monarchical China under Japan had been occupied by the Russians, which at that time were communists. So they were occupied by communists. And the communists obviously handed over to communist China, which at that point had basically lost the rest of the territorial control. Although it had lots of infiltrators in the rest of China. And when the Republicans moved to crush the communists, that sort of fails, undermines, and breaks up the majority of the Republican army. And the communists sort of sweep down, driving the Republican forces back and back and back. And they end up retreating to Formosa, and managed to hold on to Formosa. That, by the Chinese, is referred to as Taiwan. Granted, that's mostly because at that point America had got off their butt, realizing, our allies in the region, which are the Republican Chinese, are losing to the communists. So the American Navy basically is in the Taiwan Strait here, stopping the communists from taking over the island. And that's how you end up with the island of Taiwan being de facto independent from communist China, with them both being China. There's a lot of complications going on in the real world between the island of Taiwan and the communist central government. Partially because the communist central government has a one China policy, which implies that Taiwan should be part of China. And then the former government of Taiwan, former name is the Republic of China, because it was the Republican China. Not to be confused with the People's Republic of China, which is Communist China. Which owns most of China these days. Okay, still colonizing over there. I'm having tax issues. I suppose at this point I'm not too worried about raising the taxes. The main reason for me to be opposed to raising the taxes was that God-fearing society stuff. So we can temporarily raise taxes. Try to pay the debt down. Get the economy expanded, that sort of stuff. It's Twitch chat says, just a little bit of complications. Yeah. When you have one country that doesn't internationally recognize the existence of another country, and is an important enough country in the world stage that you partially have to let them have that facade, that can make things complicated. Quinine. Realized I didn't have any tech going, which is a big mistake. Okay. Meantime, I should be spending my infamy stockpile. Okay, so you're get claimed on by the British Raj. You got GB claims. So we can take them over, we can take them over. You're split with that. Kashmir, okay. Oh, and I have an available mandate. Let's pick the next education. Advanced Research Hub. Drops the bureaucracy cost of education. Okay. Probably not quite enough to grab the next one, no. I doubt that tree is worn off, no. Just realizing the God-fearing society may have changed up some of my PMs. Swap them back. You may notice I'm turning most of the automation off. We'll want it on eventually, but it's way too early. We've got 22.3 million unemployed. So we'll be turning it on when the unemployment's a little bit better looking. Okay, and I think we want nitroglycerin. So 5 explosives per mine. Like 30, 60, 70, plus 80, so 150, 220 times 5. So we need about 1,100 explosives, which coming from explosive factories means... So 10 will be 800, Say 12. 12's gonna get close enough. And of course, we're going to subsidize those so those online. How about my existing subsidies? Some of these I might be able to turn off. Trading centers and railways. Okay, so not that bad. Voice of the Nation. It's a cool anthem. Cool. Colonization's done, so we got another state we can state. Crystal glass, that's nice. Problematic policing. Yeah, we'll take the radicals. There we go. So there's consumption taxes removed, so we're not having as much opposition. The opposition parties. Theory, I think that just turned a bunch of bonuses on as well, which is good. Okay, so that's the new area annexed. Ooh, we have the Punjabi uprising. Okay. So this is the British Raj having a bad day. Incorporate. What are the gas lights on? Short run, that's going to cause us probably to have steel issues, which means there's going to be more steel imports. Grab the next education. Okay, so even with that on, coal's looking pretty good. Philosophy department. We're behind on tech, so any science boosts are good. Oof, construction efficiency issues. Coming from turmoil. Okay, so we let the turmoil get a little out of hand. And I'm at war with the French. Although, we're mostly going to ignore the fact that we're at war with the French. The British has already got this, the British don't have this. Either way, it doesn't really affect us right now. Here's percussion camp. Which now means I can make ammunition. Which we probably do want to do if we want to swap over to skirmish infantry. Which we probably do in the long run want to do. Turn these explosives on for the mine one at a time. Put demand in for the explosives, which apparently we were exporting what had already been built. So we'll turn the exports into imports, hopefully. And then the next one. And then the next one. Okay. Joint stock companies. Okay, this gives us another company. Which company do you want to pick up? %5 minting is temple, or is tempting. Although we'd have to get the productivity bonus on it for that to apply. What I might try to do is push to be able to get access to Kaipeng, which means delaying this one, obviously. Yeah, let's delay until we get Kaipeng. Which means tech-wise, I need to finish up the 2s. So central banking, sports, labor movement. And then I need to pick up... Oh no, it's production tech. I need Steam Donkey. So I need to come over to this tree. Finish up the 2s over here and Steam Donkey. Okay. I think it's time to do some privatization of industry. So diplomacy-wise... So the miners are fine. It's the majors I want to stop having investment rights with. Let's go in here. Can I renegotiate so we don't have the investment right outbound. Sure. If we remove the essence right inbound, yeah. Do that renegotiation. And we renegotiate this one. Again, I don't want to do the investment right. Get away without paying them? Oh no, they were paying me for that. Fair enough. I can still potentially ask them to pay me. In fact, actually ask them to pay me more. Can I have more money from you? Sure. Okay. So now I can safely go through the building registry. Everything that is government-owned, please privatize. Here we go. So that should generate revenue for the crown, and hopefully allow me to lower the taxes. Which I get away with lowering the taxes a little already. I'll let the private queue pick up the slack a little bit with the construction. Oh, and we're out of debt already. Okay. Go back to the neutral taxes. There's quinine. Okay, we're gonna stop working on that tree for the moment. Work on chemical bleaching. Because paper bleaching is just dye. Above and beyond what we already got. So it's just adding dye to the sulfur. We got plenty of dye. Same thing with bone china. And then we'll want baking powder, but try to maximize this useful spread. Okay, so it looks like the private queue can support about 8 more construction sectors itself. Well, actually, I can support 8. While it's only short, like, 3, so we should definitely do, like, 5 more. Okay, what I can be working on is swapping more of the government admin over, so we can improve policing. Just gonna let the private queue handle the construction. Swap everything over. Yeah, that's a little expensive, but the radical, the state terminal penalties and the radical reductions will be useful for getting construction more efficient. What's that jump? Is the jump in paper cost, I think. It's an argument we should, if we were to build stuff, we'd be building paper. Yeah. Although we got the tech we're working on that's going to fix the paper. That's fine. Well, maybe isn't going to fix the paper, it's going to help along with the paper. So I'm out of infamy again. So you're next. Why can't I annex you? Oh, because you like me too much. Fair enough. Sure. We don't actually have a line connection to them, so we just made him protectorate because we can. Okay, there's factional distillation. Is that helping me? I think that's helping with the spread now. Yeah, it was either going to be chemical bleaching or baking powder anyway. Okay, so there's chemical bleaching. Put on paper bleaching from a PM standpoint. Which is massively profitable. That's profitable. Oh, because I suppose we've got a glut of glass right now. That's fair. Oh, and apparently had a synthetic plant somewhere. Interesting. I can't build that, but apparently I can still inherit it. Same sort of thing with the oil wells. I definitely am not the one building the oil wells. Cambodia has withdrawn for the Beijing agreement. Okay. Of course, Cambodia is our subject, so they don't really get much of a choice. Let them leave, that's fine. You initiated this fight. Suppose that's one way to try to get enough leverage to not be turned into a subject. I don't think that's gonna work for you unless I come in and help. I should come in and help in this situation. What will you give me? Not become my subject. You will accept giving me obligation. We'll do that. Ah, oh, yeah. Let's go. I thought I almost missed the timing. So their leverage is trending towards where I can bring them in to the power block. And if I can bring them into the power block, I can go ahead and subjugate them 5 years after. Okay, I'm gonna expand the construction sector. Oops. There we go. So. Sorry, I wasn't checking the Twitch chat. For the tech tree that OU just showed, I just saw some techs have multiple path lines to a tech. Does that mean you need to have learned both or just one? So yeah, you need all of the techs that have lines to it. So for example, for pump jacks, you need both Steam Donkey and Dynamite to get pump jacks. There's only a couple examples where that's the case. So, like, pump jacks is 2, railways is 2. Most of the time it's splitting. Or if it's not, or there are different tiers. Like, you need prospecting and intensive agriculture to get nitroglycerin. Most nations start with prospecting, and you usually don't want to jump tiers. Gantry cranes, example, where you need the two, but they're both in the other tier. Investment banking needs the two, so on and so forth. Oh, and I'm not teching. In some ways I wish you could do... Oh, actually you can do queues now. Like, at some point I was wishing you could do queues and you just do click and shift click and... Wait, that worked. It was basically what happened there. It's like, you weren't able to do that in the past, but you can do that now, apparently. Okay. You're trying to sway me in... against... Well, I've got alliance with the British, so I gotta accept this. If I don't want to lose an alliance. Against the Russians. Okay. You want Norway. Oh no, you want Persia. I kinda want Persia, but apparently too late for that. I'm not gonna be taking it off the British anytime soon. What can I get war goal-wise? No. Although we could do that, that wouldn't be too bad. Liberate a subject, no. I can't take any liberate countries. Yeah, that's probably the one we want to take, if we were to take one. From Persia. Or let's take stuff off the Russians. One of the reasons we want to take that is so we'd have a land border with Baku. Yeah, let's ask for that. Then if we get called into another war with them against the Russians, we can ask Baku. As soon as we can finish our other war here, we'll have more forces to deploy on the Persian border. Here's the labor movement. Here we go. We can invite these guys to the power block. So in 5 years, we can make them a subject. Can you, like... Okay. This is not a deal, but we're gonna do that. There we go. I deleted the army because that teleported the army. That's why it's not ideal. Okay. Got it to where we needed to anyway. Before I let this part go on too long, let me respond to some Twitch chats and put the part break in for YouTube. So Twitch is saying, how do you find the tech tree in these games? Is it much of a change in Victoria and EU? Do you have a preference? If so, that's a good question. So I know every version of, well, I say every version of EU has different tech tree. EU5 and EU4 have different tech trees. I suppose even arguably EU3 has a different tech tree to EU4. Victoria 2 and Victoria 3 also have very different tech trees. There's some things I like about the tech trees, and there's some things I don't. Victoria 3's tech tree fits Victoria 3. It's probably the best I can say about it. Some people will note it kind of just... Depending on how you're playing, it sometimes ends a bit early. Especially the production tree. You get all the production stuff, and don't have anything else to do in it. Yeah. And then EU4's tech tree, which is not really a tech tree, it's just a tech line, works for EU4. And I don't know enough about EU5 to really have an opinion in EU5. I've now seen 6 hours of gameplay for EU5, so I haven't seen enough of EU5. EU5's a lot like Victoria 3's tech tree, from what I've seen. With the only difference being how the tech trees start. That's dangerous. That'll make you want to play EU5 more. Well, I had already kind of said to myself that I've got like 3 runs of Victoria 3 that I want to do before I pick up EU5. So I got to do those 3 runs first. So you're going to see a couple of runs of this before we go to that transition. Yeah, tech spread wise, we're doing pretty good with tech spread. Probably even do more tech spread. Although that's one of the reasons we're going for the corporation we're going for. Yeah, let's go ahead and put the part break in for YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. We're going to finish this war with the Russians tomorrow, I suspect. The economy, I think, is working. It's working on and off. We're in that sort of awkward place where I really want to be investing more in the economy, but we don't quite have the taxation capacity to really go hand in hand with that. We're not quite ready to switch to proportional. I'd probably swap to proportional when we're like minus 100,000 on it. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, they'll be put up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to go check up on the dog, and then we'll be back to recording the next part after that. So, wish you all the best of luck and a good time until the next part, or the next stream, and bye for now.